will recognize Calgary-Klein.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So I am pleased to rise today to speak to Bill 19, an act to protect gas and convenience store workers. And Madam Speaker, I am very pleased that this government is introducing Bill 19. And it's bills like this, Madam Speaker, that I think all legislators in this Assembly should be proud to pass, because it's a bill that will save lives. And I'm actually inspired by the tone in here today. Madam Speaker, the deaths of gas station and convenience store workers really are the catalyst to this legislation. And for me, these deaths are the most heartbreaking and egregious of them all. It's because these deaths occurred while on the job, while people were merely trying to earn a living for themselves and their family. And every Albertan should return home from work. And while accidents happen, if we can help reduce deaths at work through legislation, then we should. And we are doing that with Bill 19. You know, there have been some tragic incidents of gas station employees, including June 2015 in Calgary, October 2015 in Edmonton, and of course most recently on October 6, 2017 in Thorsby, in which Mr. Joe, a gas station owner, was struck and killed. And it was very emotional to have his family here in the Assembly yesterday, Madam Speaker, so I'm sure you're aware. And Madam Speaker, as I've stated in this Assembly before, the gas and dash death in Calgary in 2015 of Miriam Rashidi occurred in my constituency of Calgary-Klein. And in fact, Madam Speaker, I was taking my daughter to the local hardware store that morning, the morning of Ms. Rashidi's death, which is located right beside the hardware store, the gas station where she worked. And my daughter and I were minutes away from seeing the incident. I can't imagine if we had. And, you know, I often used to purchase gas at this gas station too, and unknowingly had met Ms. Rashidi. I just didn't know that it was her. And I also spoke at Ms. Rashidi's funeral, and it was heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking, and I never want to have to do it again. And when I spoke at that funeral, at her funeral, I committed right then and there to ensuring that it never happened again. And Madam Speaker, after that incident, this government committed to making work safer for Alberta's convenience store and gas station employees. And that started last session with Bill 17, in which it was legislated that convenience store and gas station employees cannot be held liable for missing money due to theft. And this protection will be enhanced with the passing of Bill 19. And as the Minister said, it will do this in two primary ways. It amends the OH&S Act to mandate prepay for fuel, and it mandates the violence protection plan be in place. And in regard to prepay options, the safest way, of course, is to pay at the pump, as there is no interaction between the customer and the employee. But for those operators who don't have pay at the pump technology, they can use the pay before you pump option. And we've made this an option, being cognizant of the $30,000 to $35,000 required to upgrade a pump. Research shows that violence protection plans with strong training components are the most effective way to reduce crime and injury at fuel and convenience stores. And this includes security cameras, emergency transmitters when working alone, time lock safes, and of course training to ensure that they are familiar with what safe workspaces are. Now, as we know, BC has had these measures in place since 2008 and has virtually eliminated fuel thefts and related violence. So, Madam Chair, this government committed to protecting Alberta's convenience store workers, and we are doing it. But we did want to get it right. And that's why we did conduct extensive consultations over 18 months. And this included discussions with industry leaders like Husky, as well as health and safety associations, academics, labor organizations, families of workers impacted by violence. And also our OH&S officers also conducted focused inspections of over 250 stations at convenience stores across the province to get a real understanding of what the risk and safety measures are out there. According to data from the Alberta Association of Police Chiefs, there was an average of 12 fuel thefts per day in 2015. Now this must stop, as every theft has the potential for a violent confrontation. Through consultation, it was also determined that the majority of gas and convenience stores have many of the measures in place. And we will work with those who don't to ensure that they are safe and compliant. And this is also why we're providing the 6 months to allow operators the time needed for compliance. And it will also give consumers the time required to adjust as well. And it would also be mandatory for these fuel stations to also hang signs to say that prepaying or pay at the pump will be mandatory. So I'd just like to close by thanking the ministers for bringing this forward. Thank you for everyone that's spoken on this, and thank you for the tone on the other side right now. I'm feeling that this is going to have no problem passing, because I think we need this, and I think we all understand that we need this. But I am very pleased to be a part of this government and this bill, and I do look forward to further debate and encourage all members on the other side and all members of this Assembly to help us pass this bill. Thank you, Madam Speaker.